If you walk away from this with just two words, let them be create value. There are only two rules to money. Number one, money is nothing but a medium of exchange of value. And number two, a minimum of two people have to agree on a specific value for it to be valid. I'm going to use an example of one of the richest people in the world to prove this point. Bill Gates became a millionaire by the time he was 26. 6 years later, in 1987, he was crowned as the youngest self-made billionaire by Forbes. Just 8 years after this, he became the richest man in the world at $14.8 billion, and add 4 years to this timeline, and Bill Gates was worth $100 billion in 1999. These numbers sound made up, but if you really want to wrap your head around how disproportionate the leaps in his personal wealth were, consider this. A million seconds are roughly 11 and a half days, while 1 billion seconds equal 31.7 years. 100 billion seconds, 3,169 years. The median US household net worth during the same period went from 45,000 to about 75,000. It's quite obvious that this growth happened because of Microsoft's exploding sales and popularity at a time when personal computers were as hot as AI is today. But this is a side effect of Bill creating a lot of value for everybody. Think about it this way. How much value must have been created in the world in the past 50 years just because Bill Gates decided to drop out of Harvard to start a computer company? How many hours have been saved, PowerPoint presentations created that led to new products, Excel spreadsheets that help create value, and endless lines of code that have followed just because of the personal computer? Tens of trillions of dollars. And what did Bill get to keep? A tiny cut. That's how this has worked, and this is how it'll be. You will receive a tiny proportion of the aggregate value that you create. You might be wondering what the bid is and why I have written $4.3 million in value above it. I'll tell you in a second, because this brings us to the second rule of money. Value equals money as long as someone else agrees to it. The bed in the picture is an infamous artwork called My Bed by Tracy Emin, which was sold for a little over £2.5 million. This artwork is nothing but Emin's bed along with her bedroom's objects in an unorganized fashion. This was inspired by a sexual but depressive phase of Emin's life when she had remained in bed for 4 days without eating or drinking anything but alcohol. The bed sheets were stained with bodily secretions, and the floor contained items from her room such as condoms, underwear with period stains, everyday objects like slippers, and other debris. A normal person might think, who would even buy this? But the shocker is that this artwork was bought by Charles Saatchi, a British businessman, for £150,000 and displayed in London as part of an exhibition. It was later sold for £2.5 million, which is about $4.3 million at an auction by Christie's in July 2014, cited as being historic and priceless. This illustrates the second rule. Anything is valuable enough if another party is willing to pay the price. That's why we accept cash as legal tender. Have you ever thought what money is backed by? Since Richard Nixon ended the gold standard in 1971, the US dollar is literally only backed by trust in the US government, and not gold, which was again used as a medium of exchange of value since ancient times. That's why art is infamous for selling works at exorbitant prices. People are astonished, and rightly so, when artworks like My Bed, Comedian, General 52 by 52, it's literally nothing but a blank canvas, are sold at such prices on the premise that art is subjective. But this only proves my point. Value equals money as long as someone else agrees to it. It's not intrinsic, it's a shared hallucination. Subscribe for more such insights, and don't forget to keep it simple, stupid.